Sinclair here, back again with another episode of Referee's Discretion. Before we get started, I wanted to take a moment to clarify the grading scale, or my count, for each match. This is the rubric we'll use moving forward. As you can see, if I grade a match 0 stars or less than 0 stars, it will get a no contest ruling. Half a star will be a half count, 1 star will be 1 count, 2 stars will be 1.5 count, 3 stars will be a 2 count, 4 stars will be a 2.5 count, 5 stars will be a 3 count, and any match graded over 5 stars will get a 5 count, a la King Kong Bundy or Big E Langston. Now for today's episode, getting back on track, we are taking a look at Chris Jericho's Rock and Wrestling Rager at Sea, also now known as the First Wave, which took place over a 4-day span in late October of 2018. This review will be focused on the Sea of Honor tournament presented by Ring of Honor. The winner of the tournament will get a future Ring of Honor World Championship opportunity. Colt Cabana on commentary as he introduces us to the highlight package from the first 8 first-round matches that led to our action in this review. Let's take a look at the bracket and go over the results. Starting on the left side, Dalton Castle defeated Matt Taven by disqualification after Taven hit him in the head with the Ring of Honor World Championship title. You'll see why that's an important fact here in a little bit. Christopher Daniels defeated Delirious, Marty Scurll defeated Rhett Titus, and Flip Gordon defeated Silas Young. Now on to the right side, Mark Briscoe defeated Will Ferrara, Hangman Adam Page defeated Frankie Kazarian, Cheeseburger in an upset defeated fan of PWO the Beer City Bruiser, and Jay Briscoe defeated Kenny King. Now, here's an updated look at our quarterfinal matches. On the left side, we have Dalton Castle versus Christopher Daniels, and Marty Scurll versus Flip Gordon. On the right side, we have Mark Briscoe versus Adam Page, and Cheeseburger versus Jay Briscoe. So Cal Val is on announcing duty for the entire cruise, and Ring of Honor World Champion Jay Lethal joins Colt on commentary. Lethal acknowledges that he will do his best, but he's no Ian Riccaboni. Then again, who is? On to our first quarterfinal match, though, we have Christopher Daniels versus Dalton Castle. Christopher Daniels at first, then SoCal Val announces that Dalton Castle is unable to compete due to the post-match attack from Matt Taven. Ring of Honor, though, has found a suitable replacement, and it is smooth-sailing Ashley Remington, also known as Dalton Castle. This was his persona during his stint in Chikara. Colt says that Castle must have amnesia or something and thinks that he is his actual other persona. The first portion of this match is Dalton Castle playing the crowd with his smooth sailing gimmick and Daniels having to adjust to his new opponent and their behavior. They exchange a handful of pins, leading to a few gut shots from Dalton Castle, taking early control of the match. Dalton Castle going for a Vader bomb, but Daniels gets the knees up. Arabian moonsault from Christopher Daniels gets him a near fall. Castle getting a second wind here, connecting with a Judas effect and a running bulldog for a near fall. Dalton Castle goes for a bangarang, but Daniels reverses with a Uranagi. Daniels with a Blue Thunder bomb. Castle counters that, though, with a roll-up and gets the win. Post-match here, Ashley Remington, customary of his Chikara character, gives Christopher Daniels a fruit basket, which is, for some reason, just a fruit bowl. Not sure. I'll give this a 1 count, though. Not much to share. It was a comedy match, honestly. No botches. It was pretty clean. A good amount of playing to the crowd. Crowd behind this match, just not a whole lot of action for me. Our next quarterfinal match is Flip Gordon versus Marty Scurll. Pre-match, we get some dueling Marty and Flip chants from the crowd, both men adhering to the Code of Honor. Marty pulls back, though, and wants a hug instead. They do hug it out for a little bit, and out of nowhere, Marty hits a rock bottom. Bell is wrong, and we get a very near fall. Marty taking control of the match early on, running the ropes, but Flip counters with a Pele kick, followed by a springboard moonsault. Marty really healing it up here with the crowd. Some good back and forth in the corner, exchanging chops and top rope grappling. Marty goes for the superplex twice, but on the third time finally connects. Marty then gets Flip into a modified abdominal stretch, then, while in that, into a modified Rings of Saturn. Very innovative offense here from Marty. Two big backbreakers, and back to the submission game goes Marty. Flip to his feet now, avoids a clothesline in the corner, connects with a springboard missile dropkick, and a dropkick in the corner. Flip really heating up here now. Hits a Samoan drop, flips through, no pun intended, hits a standing shooting star press, goes for a moonsault. Marty moves out of the way. Flip lands on his feet and hits a springboard sling blade for a very near fall. Flip to the top rope now, lands a 450 for another near fall. Both men now exchanging forearms, elbows, and chops. Marty with a backslide. Flip counters with a high knee strike. Marty hits a clothesline, trying to follow it up with a brainbuster. Flip reverses though with a small cradle for a near fall. Back to exchanging chops now. Marty then hits a big elbow to the face, goes for a pile driver. Flip counters with a jackknife pin for a near fall. Marty up first, but Flip connects with a Michinoku driver. Marty then retaliates, hits the sugarback powerbomb for a near fall. Flip flips Marty into a sunset flip pin, though, to get the win. Post-match, though, Flip wants a hug. Marty goes to reciprocate, but ducks under the hug and leaves the ring. This is a 2 count for me. This is a fast-paced slugfest. Match total good story. There was too much wink-wink for me, but I think it was still a good contest. I would have graded it higher if it were a longer match. This match only went about 8 minutes, but typically with these types of tournaments, matches run a little shorter than they normally would. Our third out of 4 quarterfinal matches, we have Jay Briscoe versus Cheeseburger. First, I love Cheeseburger's ring gear tribute to Juice and Thunder Liger here. Spoiler alert, though, Jay Lethal and Colt Cabana bury Cheeseburger throughout the entire match, and that includes from the introductions to the final bell. Jay gets on the mic, and says that nobody will think less of him if he takes a countout loss right now, because nobody wants to see him die on this boat. Cheeseburger responds with a middle finger, and here we go. Cat and mouse to start. Jay finally catches Burger with a big boot. Jay in control for most of the match. Burger gets a comeback spot, but Jay hits a back elbow off the ropes. Jay hits a Death Valley driver and locks in a camel clutch. Burger bites Jay's hand to get out of it, and the comeback is on. Burger lands a shote. Jay sells super hard for it, and Burger gets a near fall. Burger with a springboard maneuver of some sort. It does not matter. Jay counters with a super kick. Follows that up with a Root Awakening for a near fall and a Jay Driller and gets the win. This is a half count for me. Mediocre David versus Goliath story. I call it mediocre because it's in a tournament that had no backstory to it. If there was any type of backstory, then it would have maybe gotten a 1 count. Either way, this wasn't about Burger. This was totally about Jay Briscoe. He looked really strong in victory. My one gripe about this match, and it was a glorified squash match, Burger strikes either missed or didn't look strong enough to line up with how Jay was selling them. And I'm fine with that to an extent, but when they're not connecting and they look weak and your opponent's selling them like they just got shot, that's a huge problem for me. Our fourth and final quarterfinal match in the Sea of Honor tournament is Mark Briscoe versus Adam Page. Both men get started with a chop battle, with Mark gaining the upper hand. They then exchange in a scoop slam battle, and then a suplex battle, which Hangman then ends all of that with a delayed vertical suplex as the tit for tat is over. Mark gets to the top rope, jumps towards Hangman, and gets a boot to the face for his troubles. Hangman deadlifts Mark up into a fallaway slam pin for a near fall. Very, very unique move there. Both men, though, trading big power moves. Mark getting a clothesline for a near fall. He sits Hangman on the top rope for a big superplex. Mark in control for a little bit when Colt starts to lose his collective mind over a bird that flew into the crowd. You never see this bird on camera, but it even generates a bird chant from the crowd. Anyway, both men are trading forearm sharks now. Mark off the ropes but gets caught with a forearm and a beautiful German suplex from Hangman for a near fall. Fisherman suplex by Mark off the ropes again, this time gets caught with a big lariat from Hangman. Now with a big power bomb for a near fall, goes for another one but a back body drop instead from Mark. Rolling Death Valley driver from Mark Briscoe up to the top rope, rolls through a frog splash attempt, almost gets caught in the deadeye, but rolls through for a near fall. Hangman on the apron goes for a buckshot lariat. Mark ducks, rolls him through, and gets the win. This is a solid 1.5 count for me. I think this could have been a better match if given some more time. I also think you guys are starting to catch a trend now. Both men look good, even in defeat for Hangman. And also, even with that bird taking everyone out of the action for a brief moment. It wasn't even like, oh, hey, there's a bird, done. It was like at least 1.5 to 2 minutes of the match. And it was right in the middle when you're looking for that crescendo for it to come up to the next level. The bird, which I can't believe is the biggest villain on this card so far, takes the wind and the sails out of this entire match. Before we get into our semifinal matches, here is an updated bracket. We have in our first match, we have Flip Gordon versus Dalton Castle. And then on the other side, it is Briscoe versus Briscoe. We have Mark versus Jay in what is sure to be a great contest. Day 3 now starting, though, and Colt Cabana is now joined by Mandy Leon and Matt Taven, who is claiming to be the real Ring of Honor World Champion. So we are on to now the first semifinal matchup. We have Dalton Castle and Flip Gordon. Dalton Castle is back after his injury from Taven in the first opening round. After Flip flips off the top rope and takes his entranceware off, Dalton tells SoCal Val to say that he got a very bad sunburn and asks that Flip Gordon not touch his body. Spoiler, Dalton Castle does a great job selling the sunburn throughout the match. Starting off, Flip off the ropes, though, tries to shoulder bump Dalton, and even though he doesn't go down, his sunburn feels it, and the fans let Flip hear it. Get some chain wrestling for a bit. Flip chops Castle in the chest, and the crowd boos Flip. Dalton Castle rolls out, gets a bottle of water from a fan, and douses it on his chest. Back in the ring now, immediately gets in the corner, and Flip chops his chest a few more times. Crowd is really laying into Flip Gordon at this point. Irish whip into the corner. Flip then rakes the back of Dalton Castle. Dalton gets tossed to the outside. Flip follows that up with a tope suicida and a springboard frog splash for a near fall. Dalton Castle gains control with a huge hip toss. He then grabs a bag of ice from ringside to put on his chest to cool his sunburn. Exchanging blows now. Dalton with a big DDT for a near fall. Dalton with a headlock transitions into a deadlift and a power bomb. Very nice show of strength there from Dalton Castle. Flip with a springboard missile dropkick, trying to follow that up with a Death Valley driver. Dalton wiggles out. Flip hits a springboard spear for a near fall. Flip to the top now. Dalton Castle crotches him, gets on the apron and hits a flying knee. Flip into the other corner. Dalton hits another flying knee. Dalton Castle taking a breather, going back to inflict more damage. Flip goes for a small cradle, botches it horribly, but still sell the finish. He rolls up Dalton Castle, gets the win. This is a half count. I was going to give it a 1 count because it was a pretty standard match. It was a comedy match again featuring Dalton Castle, which is doing great character work. He did a great job of selling his sunburn. The botch at the end got me. I knocked it down a half a count just for that. Watching it back, they could have maybe added a stomp or two and then both men up to their feet and then the finish. But it was a pretty rough spot. The fans did let them hear it, but only for a brief period of time. It could have been done and executed a lot better. Here we go. Second semifinal match. Winner of this match goes on to face Flip Gordon in the Sea of Honor tournament final. We have Mark Briscoe versus Jay Briscoe. A good show of sportsmanship to start, but right at the start, Mark is a house of fire. Drop kick into the corner, Uranagi overhead suplex, rolls through on a Death Valley driver, up to the top rope, hits a froggy bow, very near fall. Mark throws a chair in the ring, Jay gets to it first though, and throws it directly at Mark's head. My kayfabe dad, Todd Sinclair, does not stop the match, so guess referee's discretion. Jay now with the upper hand, throws Mark to the boat deck, grabs a flip-flop and a beer from a couple of fans, and hits Mark in the head with them. Back in the ring now, Jay like a house of fire now. Big right hands, followed by a big splash in the corner and a drop kick for a near fall. Jay has the chair once again, puts it in the corner between the ropes, and he looks like he's going to Russian leg sweep Mark into the chair, but Mark counters and throws Jay back first into the chair. Mark then throws Jay head first into the chair. Pretty nasty shot right there. Mark sits Jay in the chair, middle of the ring, goes to the top rope, hits a big clothesline that breaks the chair. Big boot duel underway between the two, finished by Mark with a big elbow. Jay hits a standing Hurricane Rana and a big neck breaker for a near fall. Jay going for a Jay Driller. Mark counters and drives him into the corner. Mark sits Jay on the top rope, picks him up, and crosses his arms and throws him over his head into a sit-out driver for a near fall. Very innovative move there from Mark Briscoe. Mark going up top. Jay moves. Mark rolls through and hits a fisherman's suplex for another near fall. This is the point in the match when we get the dueling "Let's go Briscoe" and "Briscoe sucks" chants. So, pretty funny from the crowd there. Mark gets the chair again, puts it over Jay's face, goes up to the top rope. Jay gets up now and hits Mark with the chair. Jay gets Mark with a Jay Driller, finishes it off, gets the win. This is a 2 count. For me, this was a 2.5 count. The action was fast paced. It was fierce. The brother versus brother story was great to watch. My biggest issue with this match, though, was the use of the steel chair. I understand that this was a semifinal match in a large tournament, but if we were going to use a chair in this match, they could have just made both semifinal matches no disqualification. Referee's discretion is the name of the show. But in a tournament for an opportunity at the Ring of Honor World Champion, you would expect the rules to be followed a little bit more closely. Post-match, though, Jay and Mark do what the crowd is chanting for them to do, and that is to hug it out. All right, take a look at the bracket one more time, giving us the preview for this Day 4 final match in the Sea of Honor tournament. It is Jay Briscoe from the right half of the bracket versus Flip Gordon from the left half of the bracket. Once again, whoever wins this match gets a Ring of Honor World Championship match at a future date. Day 4 here now on the cruise. Ring of Honor World Champion Jay Lethal rejoining Colt Cabana at the commentary table. Flip backflips and rips his pants off before the match starts, as he always does, and Jay jumps right on him to get the match started. Jay throws him to the outside and starts working a mortar around the ring. Flip counters with a big boot with a kick to the face of his own. Jay rolls in the ring, Flip to the top for a 450. Jay, however, gets the knees up and rolls him up for a near fall. Jay back in control, hits a headbutt and a big boot. Sends Flip into the corner with those. Flip counters with a kick to the head and follows up with a springboard missile dropkick. Jay whips Flip off the ropes with a beautiful looking dropkick. Jay with a headlock, Flip getting to his feet, whips off the rope and hits a springboard crossbody. Both men are down, but eventually do get back up to their feet. Back to trading blows. Jay gets the better of the exchange, but Flip ducks a clothesline and connects with a Pele kick, followed with a springboard spear and a near fall. Flip to the top rope, gets crotched. Jay climbs up, goes for a superplex, but Flip sunset flips over Jay and crotches him right back. Flip whips himself into the ropes and drop kicks Jay right in the back of the neck. Big suplex spot leaves things in neutral until Jay hits a big boot, goes for a neck breaker, but Flip reverses, hits a super kick, and then a falcon arrow for a very near fall. Flip off the ropes now. Big clothesline from Jay. Jay hits a Jay Driller. 1, 2. Super close near fall. So close that the crowd is giving it to Todd Sinclair, saying that it was a 3 count. Jay in shock picks up Flip, gets him in the corner. Jay sitting up top. Flip springboards up and super kicks Jay off of the turnbuckle. Flip then quickly hits the Flip 5 and gets the win. Flip Gordon will challenge for the Ring of Honor World Championship at a future date because he is the winner of the Sea of Honor tournament. This is a solid 1.5 count. Good action back and forth. Jay Briscoe working very well as a heel here. This is the strongest Flip Gordon has looked in the whole tournament. His finishes throughout the entire tournament have been roll-ups and small cradles and small packages. I wish this could have gotten a little longer because it seemed rushed in spots. But this was a good final match for an overall good tournament. Main event time of the whole entire cruise. Colt Cabana is now joined by Scott D'Amore and, dressed as a captain, Don Callis. So, main event is now Bullet Club, which is Marty Scurll, Cody, and Kenny Omega, versus the Alpha Club, which is the Young Bucks, Nick and Matt, and Chris Jericho. Bullet Club out, all wearing matching Nassau Bahamas shirts. Jericho out after the Bucks to the biggest pop of the entire cruise, showing some team unity by wearing what the Bucks are wearing. I thought their jackets were really cool on the back. If you haven't seen the shirt, there's the shirt that has Jericho sitting on the throne, with the Bucks doing their trademark pose. And on it says, "Is it Bucks of Jericho or Y2 Jackson?" That's on the back of this jacket, and it looks sweet as heck. Alpha Club adhering to the Code of Honor. Bullet Club does not. Cody and Nick to start. Cody slaps him in the face. He then flips off the crowd and gets a spinning heel kick for his actions. D'Amore says, "That's a little attitude adjustment for you." Colt quickly responds, not on this show, obviously referring to John Cena's finishing maneuver. Matt tagged in now, jumps in with a springboard axe handle, then quickly tags in Jericho, then Nick, who all follow suit. Cody tags in Marty, and he goes through the ring of double team moves from the Alpha Club. All 3 members of Bullet Club on the outside. Alpha Club each member hits a springboard crossbody onto the outside. Nick and Marty are the legal men, but the crowd coerced them into tagging in Omega versus Jericho, who we have not seen in the same ring since Wrestle Kingdom. Cody surprisingly tags himself in, and the crowd starts to boo him. Cody and Omega arguing, and Jericho gets a quick advantage, laying in some chops, and hits a missile dropkick for a near fall. Jericho tags in Nick. Cody knees Nick to the outside. In comes Marty and connects with a super kick on the apron. Back in the ring, Marty working some joint manipulation, then tags in Cody. Cody tags in Omega, who comes in with a springboard axe handle. Marty in now. Big Nivez chop sends Nick to the ground. I'll stop here for just a brief second. A lot of quick tags. Not a whole lot of action. Very slow building match here. Omega back in now. Cody and Marty with their feet on the turnbuckle, and Omega drives Nick's face into their feet. Cody back in now, trying to replicate the turnbuckle spot. Nick reverses and sends Cody into their feet. Nick Jackson crawling for the tag, but Marty knocks Matt and Jericho off the apron. In the corner, Cody going for Shattered Dreams, runs within an inch of Nick, and then gives the crowd the bird. This gave Nick time to recover and hit a big crossbody. Nick, desperately trying to make the tag, gets cut off briefly and then is able to tag in Jericho. Marty is now the legal man as well. Jericho a house of fire though. Double axe handle to Marty and a lion saw gets a near fall. Marty sneaks behind Jericho, goes for a crossface chicken wing, but then gets countered into the walls of Jericho. The Bucks also now have Cody and Omega in a sharpshooter. All 3 members of Alpha Club have all 3 members of Bullet Club in a submission hold. Omega gets out of his hold first, breaks out Cody, and Marty counters the walls of Jericho and then hits a clothesline. Marty tags in Cody, Jericho tags in Matt Jackson. Matt is a house of fire. Omega jumping in, gets Matt, rolls through a fireman's carry, goes for a moonsault, but Matt gets the knees up. Nick springboard double stomp to the back of Omega and gives Cody a backstabber. Nick to the top now. Big splash as Matt hits a standing moonsault on Cody for a near fall. Bucks now going for a Melter driver on Cody, but he counters and hits Matt with a big power slam. Cody tags in Omega. Matt tags in his brother Nick. Bullet Club now with a 3-on-1 assault. Omega hits a delayed vertical suplex for a pinfall attempt, but Jericho breaks up the cover. Omega now having a Snapdragon party. Omega going for a V-trigger, but Jericho tags himself in and cuts Omega off. Jericho and Omega lock up and start throwing fists. Omega with a standing Hurricane Rana. Now for a super kick party. The Bucks give 1 to Cody, 1 to Marty, and the Bucks and Jericho give 1 to Kenny Omega. Jericho makes the pin and a very near fall. Bucks connect with a Meltzer driver on Cody. Jericho locks in the walls. Marty tries to come in, eats a code breaker. Cody gives Chris Jericho crossroads. Cody goes for a disaster kick, but is countered with a super kick party from the Bucks. Omega hits a double standing Hurricane Rana on the Bucks and a Spider Rana to Matt. Jericho sneaks in and once again locks the walls of Jericho on Omega. While Todd Sinclair's back was turned, Marty slides in and hits Jericho in the back with the umbrella. Jericho tags in Matt. Nick sets up for another Meltzer driver, but Cody cuts him off. Matt back in the ring. Omega goes for a one-winged angel, but his back gives out. Remember that double stomp he got earlier in the match. Matt with a super kick. Omega with a knee to the face, though, followed by a V-trigger. This time, Omega hits and connects with a one-winged angel on Matt Jackson for the win. Post-match, teams staring each other down. Omega and Jericho come face to face, and it fades to black. I'll give this match a solid 2 count. All 6 men did a great job working the crowd, and the crowd was red hot for this one. If you haven't been keeping up with the ongoing storylines at this time, this match really didn't do you any service. However, for someone who religiously watches Being the Elite, they told a great story throughout the match. My one gripe is that while it was slow to go action, and it did pick up as the match went on, it was too wink. I thought that we could have maybe gone on for another 5 to 10 minutes with some good wrestling. But again, taking too much wink, putting too much of that into your match, and you could tell the crowd by the end of it was slowly just pulling themselves out of the match. But like I said, overall good 6-man tag, and it is a 2 count from me. My final analysis and grade for Chris Jericho's Rockin' Wrestling Rager at Sea 2018 is 3.5 out of 5 stars. The Ric Flair Award goes to Jay Briscoe versus Mark Briscoe. And the Russo Award goes to parts of the Sea of Honor tournament. Let me explain before somebody buries me in the comments. I liked the tournament overall. I liked most of the matches. What I'm not a fan of is rushing potential great matches just because of a tournament. I don't like how Flip Gordon was booked with 3 roll-up victories. I didn't like the Briscoe versus Cheeseburger match. With all of that being said, the positives outweigh the negatives. Even though this was still the worst part of the card, that has to go with saying that this was a great event. Definitely crowd service for those who are fans of Being the Elite, Ring of Honor, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and Bullet Club in general. Great matches. Honorable mention, though, for the Flair Award goes to Matt Taven, and honorable mention for the Russo Award goes to Mandy Leone. They were both on commentary together. Mandy didn't add anything to the matches. She was just sitting there every now and again making just a random comment about somebody in the crowd or what she was drinking or how cute this wrestler looked. On the other hand, Matt Taven added an excellent heel perspective to each match. Overall, though, if you don't like matches that are 15 to 20 minutes long, this is an event that you can easily sit and watch. Outside of the main event, the longest match, I think, of this whole show was 11 minutes, maybe tops. It was an easy watch. It was a fun watch. If you've got 2+ hours to kill, or you just want to watch some good wrestling with some crowd service, this is a great card for you to watch. Those are my thoughts on Jericho's first wave. What did you think about it? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Remember to watch WrestleCast live every Monday and Thursday on Facebook, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. Coming soon, Podcast World Order will be launching 2 new original series, one of which is Pat Lilly's Creative Control, and the other being the Dean of Old School Dwight Parker's Do Your Darn Homework. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and follow Podcast World Order on all social media platforms. On our next episode, I've been wanting to get to an NXT show for a while now. September 11th just happened a couple of days ago, and subsequently, this event took place on September 11th, 2014. So with that being said, next episode, we will be taking a look at NXT TakeOver Fatal 4-Way. From everyone here at Podcast World Order, thank you for watching. And remember, at the end of the day, it's referee's discretion. I'm Cod Sinclair, and we'll see you next time.